up, guys? What's going on? And welcome back to York City, where 10 years in the future we are now. And things have started to come off a little bit. I noticed the second in the English Premier Division, still predicted first, so still technically the best team in the country, but they haven't won the title this year. I do notice a lot more trophies, though. However, Gallardo is now in charge, Teko is now the captain, Dahl is now the key player, which makes no sense because he wasn't the key player last time, and Carpentier is still in the side. Intriguing. Obviously, the 11 there is missing some key players, notably Godoy's missing on the round side, Mowain is missing from back line. Azato had already been sold in the last video, so fine. Hub has been moved out to the right-hand side, so I don't know what's gone over there. I mean, it's 10 years in the future, so I'm not certain on the ages of some people. Fiore, Bean, I'm not sure how old they were 10 years ago, so they might be phased out at this point already. Kovalev obviously still on the left-hand side. He was definitely young enough to still be here. Christian still in goal. Good to see that. Gazarian in the midfield, he was a winger. Maybe he's developed in the middle as well. Zoffy is the name I'm very happy to see because he was one of two Swiss players I nicked in the final youth poaching in the final season. Never really mentioned them too much, but there was two Swiss players. There was a third one who I can't remember the name of, and that's going to irritate me. Actually, I wonder if there's a way I can find out. I suspect if I go back in Swiss youth intakes 10 years ago, I'll probably be able to find out that guy's name, but never mind. Some new names there. In fact, only one new name in that 11 is the McCarthy on the right-hand side, who is just very well-rounded, really. A lot of 15s, a lot of 14s, a lot of those just on the verge of being... But worth 81 million? Probably really worth 81 million because he's English and he's in the York side now. Don't think he's worth that much. How much did they buy him for? 81 million. Well, not a great deal. Been sensational for Norwich either. I suspect this might be something to do with Englishness and meeting quotas. It might be why Godoy's not in the side. Although if he's been here long enough, he probably would have got English citizenship anyway, so that's irrelevant. I'm hoping some of these missing names are because of injury or suspensions, because obviously that's just the last 11. It's not the best 11 or anything like that. So fingers crossed. The wage budget has actually gone down, worth noting. And balance-wise, the balance has been evened out. They no longer have hundreds of millions in the balance, which is interesting. So it looks like they have been spending 81 million on that player, of course, part of that. In fact, he was brand new, wasn't he? He was signed this just now. Oh no, he was signed last season. I'm going to say, because the transfer window isn't quite open yet for this particular season. So I did wonder on that front why they had no money. But you can see from the league history, they did fail to win it twice. Last we finished off was 37-38. They were first that season, second, third, first and first. So they did win it back-to-back again the previous 2 years. But this season they've been beaten to it by Liverpool. And that's a very interesting top four. Liverpool champions by 1 point with the worst goal difference. Drew with York both times is probably the worst part of that. If York had just scored one more goal in one of those two games against Liverpool, they'd have won the title. Incredible. 11 clean sheets as well. The clean sheets thing's dropped right off a cliff. Man City and Man United 7th and 8th is so fascinating. Chelsea and Arsenal 5th and 6th. Look, pairing up these. 2 London sides, 2 Manchester sides. Tottenham nowhere to be seen in 12th. I wonder if that's a permanent thing now. No, they have been there. The last couple of years they've been sort of out of it. I mean, I don't recognise one name there because he came from... I recognise 2 names there because obviously they took Labad off us in the last video, but Clark has made his way... I bought him to be our English superstar in the York side. Oh, he's developed. He wasn't that good 5 years ago. I thought that might have been a really good deal in the end because he hadn't developed the way I thought he was going to. And then he never played for York and got sold for Tottenham, clearly. And he's flourished at Tottenham. Christ on a bike, York. What have you done here? 35.5 million as well. I mean, they made a profit, but still. Allegri kept loaning him out, didn't play him, and they sold him at Tottenham. They played him at Tottenham, and he's developed into exactly the player I thought he was going to be. That's annoying. At least my instincts were right. No, I'm just going to check Zoffy now to make me feel better. Yeah, he's all right. He's not great, but makes me feel better I got that one right, and he's still here. Gazarian too. One of the best youth players I think we had in our system when I left. 10 years on. Justified. Yes. Love you. Thank you, Hake. Tearing it up. He was tearing it up at one of our affiliate clubs when I left in the final season in Groningen, I presume, because they have... Actually, no, I don't think he was at Groningen for some reason. Despite the fact our affiliate is Groningen, he went to Genk. For some reason, I just came through in there. But yeah, 1.5 million youth poaching. Do it. All right, so we'll do this the way we did this last time, which is look through the transfers, and if there's anything left over, we can fill in the dots by looking at the actual 11 or the squad after this. Now, the way we left things off was in a very bad state, a season of massive sales. 277 million coming in. They spent that money as well somehow. But a few youth players going out for money. Parkinson, Diaby as well. That was a big one, really. Now at Tottenham as well. Tottenham's just become former York. Barwick made his way to Liverpool in the end, but he's on loan at Juventus. Juventus seem to take our players as well quite often. Shanahan's presumably retired at this point. Nope, he's available on a free transfer. Technically, you can buy him. Basile's now at Leipzig, and yeah, he's quite good now. Leipzig, we saw the bad still at Tottenham. Emre Azata might still just be in the game. Yeah, 34, still at PSG, doing quite well. But first season we've not seen transfer-wise. One sale, Ezekiel. One incoming, Ezekiel. They bought him. He's now at Strasbourg. Good job. Right, okay, so first immediate signs of... It might be worth checking actually quickly the manager situation, because did he retire? Yes, he retired at the end of that year, 2039 actually. He did one more year, Allegri, and then left. Ricardo Machado took over 2 years, sacked or left. That's not sacked. No one's ever been sacked, but he did leave, and then Gallardo's taken over. Now, Gallardo himself, 67, probably not got that much left in him. Machado, now at Real Madrid, so Real Madrid offered him the job when he took it. Fair enough. So yeah, I figured it was worth us quickly checking the manager situation just to put these into context. So this happened under the final year of Allegri's rule. Mick Clark being sold to Tottenham, the worst offender of that. And I suspect that's because he didn't play midfielders. If we'd had anyone in who played regular central midfielders, I think Mick Clark might have been all right and stayed. Meluso left for 11 million. Did wonder what was going to happen to him. He didn't actually develop that well. I had high hopes for Meluso, actually. I thought he might become Fiore and Bean level, but clearly not so. Maybe because he didn't play all that much. I don't know. But I mean, Gary Eady got sold for pittance. No idea. Like I say, don't get them all right. You don't get them all the youth poachers right. Didn't get him right. Patrick Fluck leaving on a free. He's the big disappointment. I really thought he was. I mean, he's worth 10 million at Bochum, but I wonder if we just didn't play him enough. I don't know. But clearly I got him wrong. I thought he was going to be the star central defender alongside Hubbard. Nope. And speaking of star central defenders, we sold Moreno for less money than we bought him for. What the bloody hell are you doing? He's still 33, still bloody brilliant. Someone did Bayern as well, which is the worst thing, because Allegri was from there, and Bayern were now our rivals. Our big European rivals were now Bayern. They kept knocking us out of Champions League stuff with Allegri in charge for some reason. Paulo Sousa just kept beating Allegri as Bayern Munich manager. It's a weird situation. Buko Stolberg gone for 80 million. Wolves, we thought were third. They're clearly brilliant now. And they still have him. Why? Why are you selling our best players? But Allegri's gone after this year, so perhaps that's when the madness stops. I mean, they did buy a backup goalkeeper for Manchester City for 23 million. Right. Clanzio, I haven't seen him yet. He's left. He's terrible. He's 34, though. That might be part of it. Vial has gone to Beijing, possibly sold for decent money, with 21 million from Standard. Casio, from Brazil. He's all right, but he's 21. Carlos Fingal, striker, on loan from York, but again, not sensational, although that one was a smaller risk, seemingly. Cost only 5 million so far, and we're still a few more years on. In terms of outgoings, not a lot, just a few disappointing ones. Jalen LaFortune, yeah, another youth intake one I didn't get exactly right, seemingly, not up to York levels. Moore Keita was a free, technically a free agent, but because there were two, Darby and Keita, they were in the international youth sides. He was a free, but he was actually out of club, so he wasn't international new gen as such, but he was in the youth side for Senegal. Nicked him on a free. And he's done all right. They've sold him to Leicester, and Leicester have sold him for 36 million. Strasbourg, I do wonder if they're still a great side. Third, media predictor 7th. They did actually win a league title, but they're not quite since. Obviously, they won the Champions League as well in 1 year, thanks to one of our own players scoring against us. Is he playing left back, Moore Keita? He is. Yeah, well, he is left-sided in fairness, but he has 6 tackling. Good luck there, Strasbourg. Good luck. Worth 60 million there, though. Strasbourg, definitely high reputation these days. I noticed Groningen were used as an affiliate again. And Arras is a very disappointing one to see go, because he was the one I wasn't really certain on. I thought I'd been mugged off by Arras originally because his scout report came back quite terrible, and he cost me 3 million, which as a youth intake poach was quite a lot. But he has developed into a very good player. Now at Norwich, and I feel like 27 million. He's also English despite the name. Just the one income the following year. Alf Hauser, 77 million. Leipzig, very good player. Ryan side. Bradley Cooper, the actor, is possibly one of our youth intakes that I've not seen yet. David Battams was sold finally, despite probably not playing a game in about 8 years. 33 now, contracted to Olympiacos. Did go to Leeds though, like a lot of our players did in the end. Yeah, one of our better youth players. I'm fairly certain Barwick, Yurchenko and Battams all went to Leeds. There's a fourth one, I'm pretty certain, all went to Leeds. A lot of players getting our offcuts. And then this is the most recent year? No, 1 year to go still, but Ed Halliday for a stupid amount of money. The age he was at that point, 30 million. Possibly an English situation. 2 youth things. Now, Josimar I did recognise as the hot prospect. 19 years old. He's on loan at Toulouse, maybe. But for that kind of price, I mean, they are getting a few perhaps bargains there they could sell for good money later on. And this is, oh dear, Carlos Garmendia, 72 million. I had high hopes for Garmendia. He is actually very good. At least it's a profit, but I was expecting him to become the star striker, perhaps. Godoy for 33.5. Right, that's where he is then. Don't know why they sold him. I wonder if he just wasn't getting games or something. I wonder if that was just a weird situation. I will just double check that one, actually. 42 million in total. Yeah, just wasn't playing a great deal, really. And actually, at the point they sold him, he would have been 31, because he's 33, I think it said there. It's not a bad deal, really, actually, to get 42 million for a 31-year-old. Yannis Schumacher went as well, the other Swiss player alongside Zoffi. He's actually very good. I'm quite annoyed they sold him. Rizai, we nicked him as a youth intake from Bayern. He's not that good. He's still very good, but not ultra standards. Paulo Roberto, I don't even recognise. He must have come through. Yeah, he'd have been 15, so he must have come through at some point. Martin Rivera was the other American player alongside Colin Smith, the goalkeeper, who I've not noticed yet, so he might still be in the side. But he was two American international new gens who didn't have a club. So the fact we managed to get actual money for some of these along the line. Clangio ended up leaving for 6 million. What a pointless buy that was in the end. And then the most recent year we have Vince McCarthy for 81 million. I mean, yeah, fine, but I don't get it. Possibly because he's English. It's better than Halliday anyway. Michael Simmons from West Brom, also English. Actually alright. Good side midfielder. Sort of the James Grimes of this era. And then Aldo Villalba, fine. He's 18. Actually, he might be really good. He's 18. Still made 90 million though. Vialli, at least they sold for decent money, even if he is quite good. Ezekiel, they've sold for more than they bought him for, but again, not great. Antonio's gone. Fiore's gone for low money. He is getting on though, 33 years old. Physically not really there. And keep an eye on the free agents as well. Ogilvy was a youth intake poach, but never really came to anything. Well, 16 million, but yeah, never really came to anything. So that's the most recent year. So we can look at the senior squad and see if there's anything sort of we've missed there, but we've sort of seen all the ins and outs. Hacken and Wilson is a name I did keep seeing on the loans in recent years. Left-hand side, quite good, quite fast. English, clearly maybe fans of Formula One in the naming of his first name there. But Wonder Kid English, is he one of ours? I wonder. Barnsley, Groningen, there are affiliates. York is the first one. Yeah, so he's one of ours, actually. He might actually be the best York player to come through the academy in the entire save. Barwick possibly still holds that, but it depends on how this guy develops, because he might still have more in him. I like the fact they've utilised both of our affiliates, though, Barnsley and Groningen. I do wonder if that's still a thing for York, by the way. Yeah, they still have all the affiliates that I set up. They've also added Swindon. Well, we had quite a lot in the end. We had one in America, one in China, just for finance purposes. Just want to quickly have a look at the staff and see if there's anything worth noting in here. Any former players? I should just say there was a mass exodus. Cesar Azpilicueta is our under-18s. He's really good. He should be managing an actual side. He was actually manager of Atalanta for a very short period of time before we nicked him. I should say, yeah, what I was going to say before I interrupted myself with Azpilicueta, there was a big exodus when I left. Nacelle went with me, despite only joining as a scout that particular year. Kasper Schmeichel left as well. That's the only sort of, name you'd recognise. Yeah, Philip Giles is still the director of football that far on. Quite a lot of these names are still names that were there 10 years ago, but other than really Azpilicueta, nothing really stands out, if I'm honest. I mean, Boris Myhill, of course, but I signed him. He's a very good coach. He should be coaching the main squad rather than the under-23s. But I did that. That's not one of them. So I suppose we should look at the last season where we left things off. So Davila had a testimonial for Liverpool. I love the fact that they chose us for that. So this is where we left off. They got an FA Cup and nothing else. Barcelona actually take them out of that Champions League rather than Bayern Munich for once. Last year under Allegri, but the first new year that we've not seen. This looks quite good so far. They didn't win the Premier League that year. Worth noting though. Champions League final beating Dortmund. FA Cup ended quite early. Leeds. Fair enough. And Carabao Cup final against Newcastle. Good job for Newcastle there, but despite sending off, 2-0 to us. Lost the Super Cup to West Brom, who are fourth. They've not dropped off yet, so they're still up there. Carabao Cup still in that quarter-final. Lost the semi-final to Wolves, but they're up there as well now. Stelvog had already been sold at that point. That's gutting, but was sent off. Thanks. Thanks for trying, Axel. Thanks for trying. Managed to get past Luton this time. An FA Cup semi-final loss to Chelsea. Cantoro actually playing a game. And beating PSG. So back-to-back Champions League finals again with two different managers in Berlin. that time as well. So, we're starting to get testimonials again. Vidal got a testimonial. That's the most surprising thing so far. Teco got a testimonial. And Cantoro got a testimonial. 3 players all brought in the same time for about the same money. I can't remember if they're all 525ers. Because there were 3 players. There are 3 players we brought in for 5.25 million release clauses. Vidal was one of them. No, Teco wasn't. But Cantoro, I presume, was. I think Godoy might have been the third one. Okay, he was 7.5 Cantoro, but it might have been a goalkeeper. One, it might have been Labat and Godoy, the other 2. We'll see how this one's gone, though. This season as a whole. I love the fact there was 3 there. Actually, just quickly checking. Vidarson came back, because obviously we can't actually look at the matches, but Teco and Carpentier are both in the side anyway. Alfhaus Adal. Foreman came back for that one. You'd love to see it. Still playing at that stage as well. FA Cup quarter-final loss, I do notice there. Carabao Cup final beating Liverpool, though. Good. And the Club World Championship has begun. Champions League is actually, we've been knocked out by Schalke. Right, okay. Moabi, that's an interesting name. He was a very good young wonder kid who had just gone to Sheffield United in the first year they simulated. Yep, the year they got relegated. I thought, he's going to do great things for Sheffield, and then he got relegated. I thought that he might be the one to spur Sheffield United up into greatness, and then didn't. And the exact opposite happened. Never mind. But the Club World Championship was started and ended by our PSG quarterfinal. Marco Wind, great name. Carpentier got a testimonial, as right he should. Curious, why them? Why not Saint Etienne? Why have they chosen SV Mattersburg as the opponent? That makes no sense. Vidarson came back for that one as well. Vidarson clearly not happy about having to leave the club. Bloody Allegri and his no midfielders. Comes back at every opportunity. Anyway, Malaga in the Champions League. I just noticed that one, by the way. Good going on their front. Sorry, our Champions League group in that year was Malaga, Standard Liège and Dortmund. Lost to Everton in that one. Carabao, we don't really care. In fairness, Champions League... Werder Bremen in the Champions League as well. Sorry, what was Germany in that year? Oh no, sorry, Dortmund was the German counterpart. It's Malaga. Okay, so Europe's had a bit of a madness in that particular year. Werder Bremen back in the Champions League. Nice to see it, but surprising. Dortmund, despite beating them in the group stages twice, we lost to twice in the knockout stages. FA Cup final dealt with, though. Kovalev gets a testimonial. Fiore got a testimonial just before he left. Great. An actual logical opponent for that one as well. Godoy not playing at this point for us, so that's a return. No idea for that one because they're all our players anyway. Hearts in the Champions League. Shout out to Hearts. I mean, we did demolish them, but shout out to Hearts. Hearts, PSV and Benfica is a very kind group as well. Fairly good job at home, though, from them. This one's gone quite well. Although, where did the Carabao end? At the very beginning, Arsenal in the first time. Well, that's unfortunate. Champions League final, beating Liverpool, got that one. FA Cup final, beating Tottenham, got that one as well. Nice. Good job there, getting the other 2. Overcoming Dortmund as well. Nice little comeback in the run through. I mean, PSG Dortmund, not the easiest run in, and that's the most recent year, so not done too badly. No Club World Championship, though. So I guess we better just check on a few of our old guard. Probably actually the best way of doing this is going into our best 11, but Azata, still very good, just slow. He's 34. It's unsurprising. He's had a good time at PSG. Who I do wonder if they've still got like half of our players. Still got Vidarson, who is retiring at the end of the year. He's 34, bless him, 35. He's probably better than some of the players who aren't retiring, really, physically. 9 and 10 is not terrible. They've still got that Schouten. Can't help but love that. I mean, our best 11, most of our best 11 is still at the club. So there's not really much we can do about it. Shalnan, we can see how he ended up. He actually is, and he's a free transfer for... Get him in as a staff agent. Get him in as staff, for God's sake. Do you not understand how Football Manager works? Yeah, the rest of his career didn't go that brilliantly, did it? He tore it up in Qatar, but the Lyon spell, good lord. 25 starts, 6.5. How do you... He did even worse the following year. Dutra, how did the rest of his career go? He's not even in the game anymore, so we can't look. I love the fact that Juanito Lopez is still in our best 11, but on the bench. You know what's heartbreaking? I've just realised as well. Nacel's gone off our best 11. Doesn't even make the bench for the best 11 because Arian's there now. Vidarson and Vidal, who's been moved back because of the prolonged use of a DM, I suspect. Vidal's made 630 appearances now. That's insane. Considering he didn't play at all in my final year, pretty much. That's ridiculous. Carpentier, though, 655, and I can see Christian's got even more. So nearly at 694 appearances, 6.97. Goalkeepers, that's as good as it gets, pretty much. Nearly a 7 with 700 appearances. That's an insane average. I mean, you look at this, and actually, Dahl scored 212 in 367. Dahl and Godoy exactly the same starts now. Oh, it's exactly the same appearances. By the way, I love the fact Azata, 40 goals in 360. He scored a goal every 8 games, which as a defender is absurd. Sarri's on the bench still, though. Nice to see that. Sarri only makes the bench despite having more appearances and a better average rating than Vidarsson. Like, I love Vidarsson, but that makes no sense. So in terms of the players, really, there's not a lot of players I want to check on right now. It's just Rick and Gonzalez, pretty much. Rick's 34, stayed at Barcelona. And Gonzalez stayed at Valencia as well. So both of them stayed at the clubs they ended up going to. Yurchenko, he's still at Leeds. He stayed there. He's still very good. He must have made a lot of appearances for Leeds, 263. I wouldn't be surprised if he's in their best 11. Riley Saxton was pretty much done when we left him. Yeah, he didn't stay on. I'll also check the York record. That's not what I wanted to do. Over you. That's what I wanted. So most goals in the season is still Juanito Lopez with 37. Most assists, 26 assists from Gazarian in this past year. Ridiculous. Christian high clean sheets, 31 in our final year. That's still the highest. Fabian Dar got 15 clean sheets. Fabian Dar got 15 player of the matches in the season. I presume Carpentier was injured. The season he had more appearances in than any other one. And in fact, that's the highest average rating as well, 7.8 pretty much in 54 total appearances. Most matches won in a row, still mine. Most matches without losing, still the first year. Yeah, we walked that. Vanarama National North. Highest scoring league match, still the one against Southampton in 2031. Biggest win against Northampton. We saw that one as well. Don't know why that has got an asterisk on it. Highest gate receipts is still the one against Espalis. While we were there, average attendance, still the season we were there for. Most points in a season is still the Vanarama North season. But of course, actually no. It would have been it was 102, was it? I can't remember how many points we got in the final year now. Most league wins, though, that was that year. And I'm just intrigued to see who actually did well in those seasons we didn't win. So Wolves won the Premier League. They were coming through at that point. West Brom, thereabouts, still won something. Still won the Europa League. We knew that, actually, because they beat us in the Super Cup the following year. So 5 teams in the Champions League. Wolves, York, Chelsea, Tottenham, West Brom. Man City, Man United and Liverpool. Arsenal. None of those in the Champions League. Wolves, York, Chelsea, Tottenham, West Brom. Man City and Arsenal back that year. Norwich gets 6th and no champion. Norwich gets 6th, 1 point off 4th. Don't get any European football because Liverpool win the EC2. Or, no, win the Carabao, clearly, and Chelsea wins something as well. That's harsh. And it happened again the following year. Man United, Liverpool, Wolves. Sorry, I didn't actually look at the top of that year. It was Wolves again. Wolves won it twice in a row. Wolves still top 4. West Brom there or thereabouts. So they've only just got back in. Norwich gone down in a weird Sheffield United situation where they're doing quite well and then just get relegated out of nowhere. I mean, this is absurd though. Man City, Man United, 7th and 8th. Arsenal, Chelsea, 5th and 6th. And then top 4, Liverpool, York, Wolves, West Brom. This is the new normal. York scored 105 goals and finished 2nd. They put 7 past Man City and Arsenal in that season and still finished 2nd. Crazy. I suppose I should have a quick note at England as well because we did do that a little bit. Chalobah is England manager because obviously. I think I did look at the manager, but I only looked at who just took over, which was Garcia. Salin did it very briefly. Sacked, which doesn't happen very often. It was resigned, retired, and then sacked. After 228 days, he had a terrible campaign, clearly, where he won 7 games and lost 1. And then Lampard had it for a year, won the European International League, and then was sacked, despite only losing 2 games. Then Julian Maycock took over. Now, that's a name I vaguely recognise, because he was West Brom manager when I left. Now Liverpool manager, but he resigned as well, didn't win anything. And now Chalobah's in charge, who hasn't also not won anything. Did Garcia win anything? Oh, he won a World Cup. Of course he did. The year after I left. Of course. Southgate didn't win anything. Wilder didn't win anything. I get an International League and a champion for Euros, and then he does the one better. Lovely work from that. Lovely work there from those guys. So that's really it, I think, from the 10 years. I can't really think of much else to cover. I might do one more of these. I'm just intrigued to see how Carpentier, that actually does remind me, there is one last thing I do need to check, and that is Player of the Year. And Carpentier did win one Player of the Year. The year after, well, actually, what? Did I see this last time? Because he won World Player of the Year, but for some reason didn't win the Footballer of the Year. That was it. He didn't win Footballer of the Year, but he did win World Player of the Year, which makes 0 sense. He was 3rd in that particular year, wasn't he? So I do remember that. But Godoy, still a York player at that stage, wins Footballer of the Year despite them being sold the following year. Right? That makes sense. Made 33 appearances, got 19 goals and 6 assists. That doesn't feel that deserved, if I'm completely honest. It was tied on voting points. Hilarious. And then Vidal the shunned. 46 appearances, 25 goals, 7 assists. Beats Carpentier, weirdly, to the title of Footballer of the Year. And then Moabi actually got it for Schalke most recently. Told you he was going to be good. Christian getting any more goalkeepers of the year? Yes, he won it 3 times in a row. Great work from Christian there. Actually over a 7 average rating in 2 years in a row. 3 years in a row. Oh, what a goalkeeper. Golden Ball, did we get any of those? Carpentier, we saw that one already. Mbappe's still in the game. Worth checking. Director of Football at Kievo. Of course. Of course he is. World Team of the Year, how are we doing in that, by the way? Just want to quickly check on that. A couple players on the bench, seemingly. Vidal, Hubbard and Kovalev making the most recent year. Just trying to see if I recognise any of these names. Aguirre I recognise as goalkeeper, but O'Connor Reyes, I recognise that name from 10 years ago. I feel like Ostrowski was not... No, he wasn't. Maybe I saw him in the 5-year video at some point. Under 21, did we get any of the under 21s coming through? No, Carpentier was the last one to win that. And then no one since. We haven't signed any of these players either, which is irritating. But that seems it. That's the last thing I can definitely think of now. So until the next part, if there is one, I'll probably only go 10 years. I know 25 is sort of the norm for the next one, but I think I'll just go 10 because everyone of note will have retired by then. So I'm not sure if 5 would see 5 more years. I think more than 5 is required. Maybe. I mean, Carpentier is probably the last main one. Dahl, though, at 29, needs more than 5 years before he retires, I suspect. So I'll probably go more than 5. I'll go for 10. That's probably going to see them all done. I'll see you for that one. And of course, still got a best 11 video to do as well. So I'll see you for those. Until then, thank you for watching. Ta-ra.